As a tall rider, I find that the KLR 650 is perfect. I find it very, very comfortable. I find that my feet are planted and that it's an excellent reach for the bars. I have no issues. One thing, however, that I would say that I'm not a big fan of is the wind directly on my face all the time on the highway. I just feel like the windshield, it could be a little bit taller, but then when I think about bringing it taller, I just keep thinking about bringing it closer to my head. So I keep feeling like I'm gonna smash into it on the trail and that will get ugly. However, there is a solution and we found one and we're gonna install it today, and that's a windscreen riser. So let's take a look at putting in a little bit of wind mitigation on the KLR 650 today. All right, let's see what we got here. So I've already unboxed it, if you will. It's time to unbag it. Ooh, a one-pager, nice. This is a nice key part here. For those of you who don't know, this actually comes with a dash that mounts over top, which is key. That's really good. They got some places to punch out. Hardware, I'm not gonna tear this open, but it looks like we got some spacers in there as well. This is what I'm interested in, actually, oddly enough. For the longest time, I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna make my own one of these things. My own dash riser. But I could never figure out what to do with respect to this. So this is made out of a nice metal here, which is cool, but it is a little bit flexible and pliable, so we can manipulate it into the space. But if you were to take off the stock windscreen off the KLR 650, you're going to find out right away that the windscreen also acts as a shroud over some of the electrical in the dash. So whenever I think about making my own one of these things, I'm constantly like, well, what am I going to do about all that empty space? I really don't want to have it open to the elements. So Chrono Parts makes two versions of this. They make a version with the dash, with riser brackets, but the other version, less expensive of course, but not, you know, too expensive by any means, doesn't include the adjustable here. So in this case you do get this section and then you can kind of raise it and lower it. So this will be good to play with. So this is everything you get. All right, so I guess first thing we want to do is get the windscreen off. That is step numero uno. This is what I was talking about when it comes to the little shroud area that we saw when we were taking it apart. See how all this is just exposed? If I were to make my own, I'd have to figure out how to get something in here, which, you know, I don't have a lot of metal bending tools or sheet metal operating tools, fabricating tools or anything. So that's that. Put this to the side. And next is to put the actual windscreen riser pieces on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these risers on and just kind of soft mount them, I guess, because this top screw here is what's going to be used to secure the shroud. So you can see how this comes in. You can see how these align here and here. So when it comes time to put it all in together, I'm gonna seat it up in there like that. So let's do that. So this section here, just gonna let that hang out there for a second. I'll grab my washer and my bolt. And when I have to do it, we're doing it. All right, so after having lost like these little washers and things down through the bike like about 4 times so far, definitely free up a hand by using maybe some painter's tape or something to hold the riser in place. That might make it. This is hilarious. There, I think that looks very clean, very cool. One thing I will note are the horns of death here. So what do we do about those? Well, you can leave them on, and if you fall over top of your bike, you can be impaled by them, I guess. But I'm gonna cut mine right off with this little bit of a hacksaw here real quick, and then smooth down the edges. There, it's not the most beautiful looking job, but you know, it's definitely better than getting stabbed. So next we're going to put on the dash, the upper dash section. This would be like the rally dash, as they say. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to take the bolts that secure the instrument cluster and help secure the shroud, and we're going to pull those out. And we're going to use new bolts that's provided with the kit, along with a spacer, to help give us a spot to secure that in. So first things first, let's pull out those bolts. So once we get the dash portion set up here, we do want to like adjust it and just place it in to secure it onto this section here. And you can see there's 2 bolts. There's actually 2 screws to put into that. So you just kind of force it in. And that's why you kind of want to leave these ones down here at the bottom a little bit loose first. And then once you have that in, you put a washer and a lock bolt, and away you go. Once those 2 top bolts are in, you can finish securing these bolts here. Don't go too tight here, just go tight enough to hold them in place, because there is a rubber grommet back there. If you tighten it too much, it'll pop it off, and then while you're end up uninstalling everything, trying to work itself back out. Overall, what I like a lot about the install on this and about the overall setup for this is that it has a lot of points of contact. You're here and here, and then you're also on the dash itself, and then you're connected into these parts. So everything is like really, really secure, you know? And then you have this section where you can just tighten up as you need to. So next step will be to put in the windscreen riser. I'm gonna give it a clean before I do it. Now I thought this was going to look gross, but I don't mind it actually. I think it looks kind of neat. I don't know, maybe I'm weird. Very good. So now we have it on, and you can see it's got its ability to move up and down, which is really cool. So I'm going to put it up in the highest deflection, because that's kind of what I'm after. And I'm going to secure it in place just with these guys here. And then maybe see what the weather's doing outside. I might take it up and run it down the driveway. Well, I think it looks really good. It definitely gives that cool, like rally-esque look to the front end. And aside from all that, I really feel like just even running it up and down the driveway outside, it felt like it was really, really getting the wind up across my head a little bit. So I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like when we get it out on the highway in the spring. But we have to wait for the spring for that. So until then, enjoy the rest of your off season if you have it. If you don't have an off season, you're out there riding, ride safe. And until the next one, folks, we'll see you again. Take care.